Bluetooth off so that I can. Okay. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. It's very morning, okay? I still have my pin curls in. I fell asleep super duper early last night, and then I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I put some pin curls in. I was just in the car chatting with myself about my dreams last night, but then even though I don't think this was the point of the dream, but one of the things that I realized I am going to be incorporating into my life, integrating into my conversation with people a lot more moving forward, is the phrase, I don't know. All right. So, as I've chatted with y'all about, I have no problem investigating things. I love being somebody that helps others solve problems. Um, at least I used to be. Now I am super duper invested in solving my own problems and my own problems only. And if you relate, then we can vibe. But I am not a problem solver for others. Um, and I'll get to why I just said that in a moment. But one of the things I was thinking about is how when people, so I'm incorporating the phrase I don't know into my regular vocabulary now. It's something that I was practicing over the past couple of weeks at work, because at work, and I guess you could say this also goes hand in hand with like imposter syndrome and things like that. At work, I tend to find myself in situations where people ask me dumbass questions. And some of the dumbest questions, and I had to realize that they were dumbass questions. I had to realize that this is just a pompous idiot that is asking me a question that they either do or do not know the answer to. But to be honest, the answer doesn't really matter. I like solution based and or investigative questions. Don't just ask me a question for the sake of. And I had to realize that a lot of people at work and in life do this. Now, this is not just limited to people asking you dumbass questions, but I'm just using this as an example as to when I started implementing this practice of saying I just straight up don't know. Now, people would ask me these dumbass questions, and prior to, in life and at work, in this example, I would feel pressured to help them come up with the solution, to help them resolve whatever issue they had brought to my doorstep. Okay, one thing I used to say is I hate when people take a shit on other people's doorsteps. So like, you just put on your drawers and you just take a shit on my doorstep, and now I gotta clean it up. Now I gotta figure out why you did this and what the hell. Can you imagine somebody taking a literal dump on your doorstep and then just looking at you like, okay, so how we gonna get this up? Like, you did that. So I think that it should be your responsibility to at least figure out how you're going to clean it up. I don't think it should be my responsibility, but I used to be the type that would jump in head first, not into the dump, but into the metaphor of cleaning it up and trying to help them figure out why they did it and stuff like that. Excuse me, y'all, it's allergy season. But that would be me. And so when people at work would ask me these questions, I just started to straight up say, I don't know, because I realized, I've talked about energy harvesting and siphoning. Just cutting yourself off to feeling like you have to resolve issues, I don't know, is a really, really good thing. And we need to know things. Times to not know is to be vulnerable. If you're anyone that has, it said I was disconnected. Let me turn the Wi-Fi off because I'm definitely driving. I too have been in those situations in life where I felt like I needed to know and things like that. And so now I'm training my mind. I am retraining my subconscious mind to be okay with saying that I don't know. Partly for my own energetic reasons. I need to save and conserve my energy for more of me. Okay, period. And so by me trying to help others resolve their issues and things like that, it takes time away from me. Okay, and I don't care what you think of how that sounds, but if you feel me, you feel me, because in reality, trying to help every single person resolve every single issue that they raise up to you is exhausting. And this goes beyond just work, because imagine being someone who does that at work all day, okay, and then going home and being someone who does that in your relationship, for example, or being someone who does that for friends all the time. Anytime an issue is raised, you feel like you have to figure it out. Anytime an issue is raised, you feel like you have to investigate it. I started noticing that this was a problem when I would be around my boyfriend's family. And it was never a problem because they were always very kind to me from the beginning. But this is gonna sound real silly, y'all, but this is when I started to realize this was a problem. So a couple of years ago, when his siblings started getting older, because he's the eldest sibling, and when we all would like be in the same setting or be hanging out or doing something like that with his family, his mom included, actually, because she's a similar type of way. They all kind of take after her, which is a very calm demeanor and things like that. But whenever, like, so let's say we would all be in the car and we're taking a drive somewhere, and we would all just be talking and laughing about something. When, let's say, his little sister, who is very smart, very quick-witted, she would raise up a topic, and it would be, let's say, something scandalous, something we heard in the news or something like that, something she saw on social media, because she'd be tapped in. I would say, oh my God, I haven't heard of that. I got to look this up, and I noticed they never expressed to me that it was annoying that I did that. But I would do that with a lot of things. I'd be like, oh my God, I got to look it up. Oh my God, I got to look this up. This is so crazy. And like I said, they've always been very kind, and they started to kind of see that as a part of my personality. But I started to hate it about myself, because I'm like, bitch, why do you have to be looking everything up? Why can't you just enjoy the conversation? Why you got to pick up your phone and look up let her tell you about it? Like, that was my, there's a voice within me that was saying that and was like, girl, what is that all about? Okay. So that was when I first noticed it, and this was a couple years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I really don't like that about myself. Like, anytime, and that was in a mild example, in a setting where nobody was asking me for help, nobody was requiring me to do anything, nobody was doing nothing like that, and here I am talking about, oh my God, I gotta, like, girl, what? So that was the first thing. Oh, from my end, it looks like a crazy glare, but it's not about the looks, it's about the message. So I should have done this just no camera, because I really want y'all to hear what I'm saying, and I look a mess. But second, when I started to notice it, was last year, when I was hanging around a group of young ladies, which I have a whole nother one in the chamber about why beautiful people, and yeah, I'm going there. Why beautiful people, inside or out, or both, whatever you consider yourself to be, beauty is subjective, and I ain't the judge. But why beautiful people, beautiful women especially, don't need to be trying to hang out with these women and hang out in these friend groups, period. You just don't need to. You just don't need to. I got it in the chamber, y'all, and I'm just waiting on I'm just doing some reading and things like that, some investigating on some things that I want to say. Because there's a lot of other people that have mentioned this at this point. And you got to realize that, when you're trying to fit in with these groups like that, they really don't give a damn about all the help that you're trying to bring in your true nature. I'm not saying that there isn't at least one, but typically when there's at least one, she's hard to spot out of the group, because she's probably a follower, and she probably doesn't know herself enough to know that she don't need to really be kicking it with them either. So it's not even worth trying to save that one in order to no, you gonna find you somebody that's independent, or you gonna hang out with yourself. That's what I do. Okay. And a lot of times people can smell it on you. So somebody who's like you, they'll find you. But anyway, last year when I was, kicking it with a group of young ladies, and I was kind of bouncing around different groups over the years, as I'll say, because I was in a long-term friend group, and we had issues over the years, but they were my main friends for a long time. But there was also another group that I knew and hung around, and I always got the feeling that they just ain't really fuck with me like that. But I probably shouldn't say that, because that probably sounds awful to say, but it was just certain things that had happened. So it probably was one, and I do believe it was one out of that group that really did fuck with me. But it just was hard to tell because they were also so much closer with each other. And I had supported all of them in their own ways. And not that this is about that, but let me tell you what it's about, because I'm about to get too personal, and it's not about that. And I'm over here thinking about, like, oh my God, what if one of them see it and, you know, they disagree? I don't give a damn. That's my experience, okay? I mean, good for them. They are all really good friends to each other, and maybe this is just exposing me as being the weakest link or whatever, but that's fine, because I don't fake kick it. But the thing is, I remember during a time when, because let me get back on track. During a time when I was kicking it with them, I think I was speaking to one of them, and oh my gosh, I can't remember what we were talking about, but we were in a social setting. It wasn't just she and I, like, hanging out. We were in a social setting, and one of them had asked a question about, oh my God, I can't remember, but it was in a field that I was knowledgeable about. I don't know if it was sewing or something. I honestly can't remember, right? But it was something in a field that I am well experienced, well versed, and knowledgeable about. One of them had asked me about buying a car, and I'm familiar with buying a car as a single woman and what that process looks like. Because as y'all know, it can be interesting. So I have a methodology that I actually learned 18 of how to buy a car as a woman without getting swindled or bamboozled. But anyway, I had given knowledge to them on that, and I think they took it. So let me not even make that a big deal. But I was prone to giving this group of women advice because a lot of them were seeking to do things that I had kind of already done, just because, you know, I was always mentally trained to be kind of independent. And so by the time that I became an adult, I just started doing stuff. And buying cars, getting apartments, going on vacations by myself, all of that. But I'm just laughing because it's funny now. It's like damn near 10 years later, and I'm still young as hell. Like, back then, when I saw myself now, I saw myself as super duper old, and I'm really just getting started. But so anyway, I think it was maybe about sewing, right? Let's just say it was sewing. It was a real situation, y'all, but I'm having to attach a hypothetical thing because I don't even remember what it was, but it was something so small and so simple. And I remember one of them was asking a question about it, and it was, I guess, a hypothetical question that she had asked. Like, she maybe wasn't really intending for somebody to answer it, but just because I so happened to know about that field, I wasn't trying to be a know-it-all, but I was like, oh yeah, you know, all you got to do is this and this and blah blah blah. And I remember her just giving me the stankiest look, and I was just trying to help her from the bottom of my heart. And this had happened a couple times to this individual, and this has happened just outside of friend groups and things like that, or this friend group with other girls, other women, other people. And I will be genuinely trying to help them solve a problem that they raised from the bottom of my heart, just pulling from the knowledge that I have gained throughout my life. And I'll notice that they will have a specific negative emotion attached to it, whether I can read it on their face or whether it is in how they treat me afterwards. Once they start realizing that, no, I'm not just somebody that just floats by life on by the seat of her pants. Like, I actually use this life as a teaching tool every day. Like, I actually pick up information. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know what the problem was, but that was a secondary experience that I had where I started to notice that when I would help certain people, when I would jump into my investigative bag or my helpful bag, they would start treating me weird. Those were just two of the more obvious examples. But then there are several other examples that I could give where I was helping friends with deep problems and they started to turn on me. I was helping family members with deep problems. I was helping family members financially and they would turn on me. I was doing stuff that I should not have been doing because I wasn't making no money like that. And their interactions with me after the fact were very interesting. And so it began, I started to notice that people saw me as the investigative, she'll help you fix your problem, the fix it girl, but yet and still they didn't want to. The rest you could probably fill in the blanks, honestly. But it don't even matter, because I started to realize, okay, even though I do want reciprocity from others, I don't even care about that no more. I'm just about to start saying straight up, I don't know. Even when I do know, even when I have the answers, I'm gonna hit you with the because you really gain nothing from giving your energy out so freely. You really gain nothing. I'm gonna just say it right there. I'm gonna just say that in my experience. And I do think that there is a certain way to be able to protect your energy, but that's what I do now. I'm just saying, for the most part, I'm not gonna be doling out advice and trying to help people and do all that shit no more unless I'm getting paid for it. All right. So anyway, I am gonna hop off here because I need to look at these directions. But I hope that this was able to comfort you. If this is something that you have been dealing with in your own life, I hope it was able to give you a laugh. If you can relate, let me know in the comments below. I know by the time this live uploads, it's gonna be damn midnight where I am. So I'm hoping that enough of you see this to where you can like the video and subscribe. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye.